Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we round up the latest Nintendo rumors in the rundown.
Plus, we spin a yarn with a review of Yoshi's Woolly World.
And then I've got a bunch of the cool LEGO Dimensions toys on the toy table. Also coming up, Vin Diesel adds witch hunting to his resume. Steve and Raju bring the scares with their review of Soma, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. Donkey Kong started out as a villain before becoming a hero, but the rundown has always been virtuous. Some powerful new rumors have come in about Nintendo's next console. According to the Wall Street Journal, the new system, codenamed the NX, will have industry-leading chips that will allow its games to compete with the graphics on the PS4 and Xbox One. The Wall Street Journal also claims that Nintendo plans to make the NX a console and mobile hybrid with a special mobile unit included that you can take with you on the go. The Wii U gamepad only allows you to play games in different rooms nearby. Nintendo still hasn't provided any official details about the NX. All we know for sure is that they're working on it, and it's expected to arrive in late 2016. We have to wait a while for the next big Zelda game, but that doesn't mean the hero of time is sleeping on the job. Nintendo is rumored to be working on an HD remake of the 2006 game, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. The game was originally released on the GameCube and Wii and gave players the ability to switch between a human or wolf version of Link. Nintendo has already delivered an HD remake of another Zelda title, Wind Waker, so we'll let you know if Twilight Princess gets the same treatment. The next Zelda game, which still doesn't have a title, is being developed for the Wii U, but won't arrive until at least next year. That means it may also be released on the NX, but we'll have to wait and see. Here to talk about all of this Nintendo goodness with me is my pal, Mr. Scott C. Jones. I also call him Donkey Kong. So, Donkey, what do you think of these Nintendo rumors? Let's talk about these HD remakes. Nintendo making too many of them?
Mr. Kong to you.
Okay.
That's what I prefer.
Okay.
Well, I feel like they don't know what to do before the new Zelda is actually ready to come out of the oven. It's not quite cooked yet.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So I think they have a big meeting. They sit around, Miyamoto sits at the head of the table.
Yeah.
Reggie sits at the other end, and they just go, what do the people want? And let's give it to them. Give them Twilight Princess. They haven't played that in a while. They did that with Wind Waker before.
That was successful.
And I think that if anybody makes games that are worth republishing, and we get a lot of recycled stuff these days, I think Nintendo games definitely deserve the recycling treatment.
They celebrate every single damn thing that they do.
I'm worried about the new Zelda. I don't know if it's going to fall between the cracks again.
I think it will.
Yeah, we're going to get a remake in a couple of years, so if you miss it this time, you can get it the next time
But
around.
maybe we'll be able to play the new Zelda on the NX in a mobile kind of capacity. Maybe we'll be able to walk around with an amazing handheld that beats the specs of what the Wii U is. Maybe we'll have like a PS4 quality, Xbox One quality handheld with us.
Listening to the story as you were talking about it, I just don't know what kind of connections the Wall Street Journal has, but we've got to get those connections. I don't know, this is a rumor. We don't know what's confirmed, what's not confirmed at this point. Nintendo hasn't officially confirmed anything. For sure they're working on something new. Some of this sounds true to me. Some of it sounds like it's on the right track.
What do you want?
You know, I really need to see the games. I don't really need the functionality. I like the extra screen on the Wii U. I think it's a cool concept, but I don't really use it. And if I do have to use it, I feel annoyed by it somehow. I don't know if I need that again. I just want Nintendo to have a powerful enough machine to release Mario games that are relevant, to release new Metroid games, new Zelda games.
And new games that we've never heard of.
And new games, that's right.
One thing is for sure, we're going to have a very interesting 2016 next year. But right now, we've got to go and talk movies. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at The Last Witch Hunter.
The fusion of modern day, right now, reality, and history, and the past. The way the film dances between the two is what was so attractive about the story, and more importantly, what was so attractive about playing the character. You want to quit?
No, I want to raise. I'm a big fan of witches, actually, and we don't really get to see them often in cinema. There aren't a lot of witch movies made. I didn't really know what to expect from the script, but I found its take on the milieu really interesting. The fact that it's sort of proposes to detail a world in a very short amount of time to sort of set up that witches have been in our existence since the dawn of time. And it starts with a very historical take and then sort of propels us into the modern world where we coexist with witches. I just thought it was so interesting. I'd never really read anything quite like it.
I need you to wake up. None of this is real. You are in a trap!
I love that with Chloe, she has a power that she doesn't necessarily want to tap into. She's afraid of just how mentally strong she may be with dream walking and what it involves.
Yeah, you're not qualified for what happens next.
It'll be very scary, but there's also a thing you don't get with all those other sort of stunt movies. There is an intellectual side to this about witchcraft and is it right to kill them, and which is one of the reasons my character's in there, to voice those things, you know? And so it's a little bit deeper than just a movie about witches.
And so it begins.
I felt very connected to the part of the Witch Queen from the beginning because in the story, witches were on the earth before humans. That was her home before the humans came, and they were trespassers on her world. So from her point of view, it's just totally natural. She wants to protect her kind and survive.
Who says that a witch can't hunt witches? It's action-packed and adventurous as well. And I was just say that, you know, it's going to be a thrilling ride.
Here's what you don't understand. What your kind never understands. You will be hunted.
I think when we do a Vin Diesel career retrospective, we're going to see that he has played a badass in every single category.
You know who else has played a badass? Yoshi. Right. And Yoshi is back on the show. We're reviewing Woolly World after this.
What's up, everybody? This is Scott Porter. Star Wars is coming later this year, Battlefront. I'm excited because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. The moment I knew I was a huge Star Wars fan, I think it was when I was like 6 years old. My parents had a vinyl of Return of the Jedi, like a long play vinyl, and it had the Ewok celebration song from the end of Return of the Jedi. And my parents must have hated it, but I loved it because, oh yeah, oh yeah, I just and I used to dance and sing, and then I had Return of the Jedi sheets and curtains and stuff in my room. I know a lot of people love Empire, but Return of the Jedi has a very special place in my heart because of that. So, I'm super stoked. Battlefronts, let's do this.
A little behind the scenes for you. After I shot that with Scott, he and I went out for a little carrot cake together. Memories, Scott Porter?
That's almost as cute as Yoshi. Then he's got a new game out. It's called Woolly World. Here's our review.
Our old friend Mario has been in video games since the dawn of time.
Too much Mario.
And now his friend Yoshi once again gets his or her own game here. It's Yoshi's Woolly World. This is the marriage of Yoshi's 2D action platforming and yarn. So Vic actually has started calling this game Yoshi's Yarn.
No, I call it Yarn Yoshi. That's my
Yarn Yoshi.
And it's also a throwback to the incredible, and you have to play this game, Kirby's Epic Yarn for the first Wii, which was such an amazing game.
You were at E3 this year. You fell in love with this game there. Tell me what you saw there, and tell me how it compares to what finally is in front of us.
Well, part of it is that I'm already half in love because
you like Yoshi.
Well, I love Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo. That's one of my favorite 2D platformers of all time. I wanted to love this game as much as that, and I don't quite. I think that it's pretty terrific.
Really? This is surprising to me.
I loved the Epic Yarn kind of visuals and the aesthetic, and I think that is something that we have to kind of endeavor to do with all of these 2D games right now, because there are so many of them. I mean, we're just still playing Super Mario Maker, and I think this is in that league. It's a beautiful game, and it's just so fun to kind of uncover the secrets and unlock the extra patterns yarned Yoshis, which really plays to the conceit of everything being knitted up. It also has a little bit of an allusion to the Little Big Planet aesthetic as well, which I loved as well.
It's so funny. We're like two people who've read all the same books and seen all the same movies, because I thought of all the exact games you've mentioned so far.
Yeah.
I thought of Little Big Planet for sure. It has that kind of handmade quality to it. I don't feel like the visuals quite pop the way that I wanted them to. I feel like the yarn looks kind of convincing. I don't know. I wanted my yarn to look better for some reason, and it doesn't quite look as good. I've never really loved the Super Nintendo Yoshi's Island as much as other people have, and I've tried to go back to it, and I played it on the GBA.
Still friends.
But you know, I just kind of got annoyed with collecting all the little hearts and collecting all the little flower things that smile at you, and I feel like there's too many things for me to worry about. They want people to play this in tandem, right? They want two people to sit down. You and your daughter will love playing this game.
And we did.
But sitting down and playing this thing, and you go through these levels together, and there's all kinds of badges that you can use to enhance the gameplay or help you through
Make it easier.
make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I wasn't using them because I'm a Bloodborne guy, you know. So the game kept saying, you have these badges, you can use one for free this time. And I would think, nope, I'm going to save the badges until I absolutely need them. I haven't finished the game. I'm 4 or 5 levels into it so far. But I really wasn't into the badge thing.
I think that you when you do, and I think you will, but when you do, I think that one of the great things about the game too is that re-exploring the levels is super fun, and sort of finding things later on in the game and realizing, oh, I can do that kind of thing and go back into another level that you missed and pull that off is super fun. And of course, the Yoshi transformations are super fun too, whether he turns into the big mega Yoshi or he turns into a motorcycle. I love the motorcycle, and it's, you know, whipping past these motorcycle, you know, friendly levels. Yeah, it's cool.
You wanted a Yoshi motorcycle.
I do, yes.
You know, I thought the boss fights were also pretty interesting. You're not doing anything you haven't done before in every other game you've played, but still, I like the aesthetic. I like the action.
I think that's the story, is that it's just like most of the 2D kind of platforming things we've done before, especially in the Yoshi realm, but it is about the yarn design. It's really cool.
Can I go ahead with my score, Vic?
What are you going to give it?
6.5. Sorry, Nintendo. Still love you.
Painful. This one gets an 8.5 from me. Super fun game, especially if you've got a little one or 3 in the house.
Yeah, my cats love playing that
Poor
game.
cats.
And listen, stick around because Vic has a toy table after the break.
Welcome back to EP Daily. I have constructed you an awesome toy table today.
All right, no more Mr. Nice Bat.
We are going to talk about LEGO Dimensions, not the game. We've done a lot of stuff on the game. We've done interviews with the people that have made the title, and we've reviewed the title. But the thing that's really amazing about LEGO Dimensions is that, yes, it comes with LEGO figures. I love the minifigures. I love the idea that we now have a Chell from Portal minifigure. That's amazing to me. And, of course, we've seen some other cool ones like Marty McFly. Now you get to play as Marty McFly in the video game. It's awesome. But what I think is really cool about LEGO Dimensions is that a lot of the play sets and the adventure boxes that you can get also come with vehicles and other additional items that you can drop into the game, and just very, very clever. It starts with the Batmobile, which they've done a really nice sort of rendition of the Batmobile with not that many bricks. That comes with the starter pack. But then you get into some really cool things like a television set in the Simpsons world, and it has Itchy and Scratchy on the screen. And the thing that you definitely have to consider when you're getting into LEGO Dimensions is that you're going to get addicted to the collection and the curation. I have been having a blast. I think this whole package is incredible, and I'm a big fan. But right now it's time to go to our review of Garfield Kart. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
There was a game that came out a while ago for iOS called Garfield Kart, but now it is available on the 3DS. So we thought we'd dive in and take to the road, because who doesn't love Garfield?
Now, when the game came out a couple years ago, like $2 on the iOS, we're like, oh, okay, whatever. It's Garfield Kart, I'll give it a whirl. And on the iOS, yeah, it was decent for $2. But now it's available on the 3DS for $30. So you think, well, clearly it's been a couple years. We're going to get a much better experience than just the game ported over with a map on the bottom screen, right? Wrong.
This is not a fun time. I feel bad because I hate that I'm harping on the developers here. I hate that we're...
Well, hold on. They're going to put puzzle pieces in the game. You can collect puzzle pieces. You're like, sweet. I'm going to get some cool stuff with these puzzle pieces. Here's just a picture. Woo!
I'm exhausted talking about this game, to be honest with you. It's just not...
You want some lasagna? That'll speed you up, apparently.
Yeah, lasagna does
Have you ever
speed
eaten
up.
lasagna? That will slow me right down. I'm a sloth.
Well, you know, I kind of get that, though, because Garfield did get excited about lasagna, and he did speed up to get it, so... But Garfield moves slow. He's a slow mover, just like me. That's why I related to him so much growing up. Yeah, listen, this game is terrible. You don't need to buy it. You don't need to spend your money on it. Honestly, don't even buy the iOS version, which you can get in the App Store still for $2. It's not worth it, because guess what? There are better karting games out there. There are better karting games on your 3DS, so pick up that one. Jose, what are you scoring Garfield Kart?
Giving Garfield Kart 2 out of 10.
It's a 2 for sure.
Good job, Marissa and Jose. Really fun to see you two working together. Now, Steve and Raju are working together with their review of Soma.
Every once in a while, you get a chance to go into a game completely blind, not knowing anything. Today, we are looking at Soma. This is a survival horror game by the makers of Amnesia: The Dark Descent, a very, very scary game. I didn't know what to expect, and it really kind of blew my mind. What did you think about Soma?
The kind of amazing thing about this game is that, you know, there's no real HUD. And so basically you're walking around, finding journals, finding things. You also have some sort of power where you can talk to sort of things.
We gotta explain a little bit what's going on. I mean,
Sure.
You are on some sort of underwater facility, the nature of which is revealed through time, possibly a power station or a scientific facility. You're not sure how you got there, although that is explained in the beginning, which we won't give away because it's kind of cool. Your goal, I guess, is to find out why you're there, who the other entities are, and I guess how you might escape.
Are you human?
Did my body give it away?
One of the big questions in this game is, you know, some really deep philosophical questions about what it means to be human.
What is consciousness?
What is consciousness? And I think some of that stuff is handled amazingly well. One of the things you have to know in this game is there's no fighting. You know, basically, if you encounter one of the entities, your best option is to be very quiet.
Yes,
and hide.
and don't look at it.
And don't look at
or
it.
you'll get Slender Man.
Oh, exactly. You'll get Slender Man. This game plays with a lot of video game tropes. I mean, how many times have I been like, oh my God, I'm in a space station. Oh, what do I do? Where do I go? And where's my checkpoint? No checkpoints here. Right? It's this utter feeling of dread, being in a place that you don't know, don't understand.
It's so visually well done. I mean, they've rendered this deep sea facility in such a cool way. You exit it several times. You're going along the ocean floor. As you go along, you meet characters. You meet other human characters who help you understand what's happening, what's happened to the world, what's happening underwater.
I had some issues. I think that there's some ideas that didn't really pay off, and that sort of bugged me, and yet I actually didn't take away from the game. I think that these are decisions that the creators made. I respect them.
Yeah. The main problem I had with the game was some of the level design is a little confusing. I spent a lot of time rattling around the first area.
Yes.
There were areas I got stuck in, and I felt that dragged down the pacing of the game because I was just getting stuck simply because it wasn't obvious where I was supposed to go next. I think there could have been a few more clues as to what you're supposed to do next here and there. But for the most part, it's a smart game. There's some tough choices to be made eventually.
This is an excellent and smart horror game. Horror, sci-fi. I mean, if these are things that you are interested in, absolutely this is a game worth checking out.
What are you going to give Soma?
8.5 out of 10.
I'm right there too. 8.5 for me.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now, don't go away. Scott's spooky stories are up after the break.
Ooh.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Sorry to disturb you. I'm staying next door.
Oh, hello, it's scary movie time once again, everybody. Today we're talking about a movie that has no monsters in it, no literal monsters. It's funny games. This stars Naomi Watts. Tim Roth is in there as well. They play a young couple who goes on a family vacation to a beachfront island, and they meet these two young, preppy dudes who, let's just say they don't have the best intentions. The entire movie takes place inside one house, so we don't spread around too much. I think the acting is great. I think the writing's great. I think the directing is great here, and some terrific performances across the board. This is one of the most upsetting films that I have ever seen, and I dare you to watch it this Halloween.
Loving these selections, my friend. Very good stuff.
Yes,
but
yes.
now it's time for the Twitter question of the day from Stephen Nikolic, asking, absurdist comedies used to be great, like Spaceballs, Airplane, Monty Python. Where did they go? And you would know, because you would track all of this comedy stuff.
Well, I'm just trying to think of the last time I saw an absurdist comedy that really resonated with me, and I feel like the only thing we've seen kind of in that direction is maybe Ted, and the sequel was terrible.
Sure.
You know, it was a little silly, a little playful.
Seth Rogen stuff gets pretty absurdist.
Yeah, but I think he's right. That's an interesting observation. I don't know why they've gone on the back burner in Hollywood right now. I mean, it feels like we're making a lot of stuff in Hollywood that's more family friendly.
Yeah, I mean, Mel Brooks was kind of amazing. You know, he was really amazing.
Yeah.
He kind of had this very intelligent look at just goofiness.
Yeah.
And was able to capitalize on a bunch of different silos. He did an amazing job.
What's the last film you saw that made you laugh?
Well, I keep referencing Bridesmaids. That blew me away.
Yeah.
You know, I think Spy has some really funny stuff. I'm a big fan of Paul Feig. I think he's going to be making some really funny movies. I think Ghostbusters could be really great.
We just saw a movie called Sleeping with Other People that I thought had some legit laughs in it. Not quite absurdist comedy, but a great question.
Very good question. If you've got one for us, you want to get caught up on the show, go to epn.tv.
That's it for today's show, but tune in tomorrow. We are going wall-to-wall versus. Here's a little taste.
Thanks for watching. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. Well, let's talk about the graphics for these two games.
Yeah.
Remarkable work, I think, on the part of Live. They've had an incredible sort of competitor with the 2K game for a long time.
Yeah.
And this year, it's a tighter race.
It is, for sure. You know, the thing that still needs to be tweaked in both games, of course, I think, are some of the faces that we see.
Yeah.
We see some disturbing stuff in 2K. We see some disturbing stuff in Live, but the arenas in Live, I think, are superior on the visuals front.
I like the fans better, though, in 2K.